Doomsday 3.
We had Doomsday 1. He came from one of the toughest areas of Phoenix, both defensively and offensively. Praying for his safety and
you got people on the defense talking about it. You better get your ass the ball. You better get the ball.
I just gotta say, when it comes to mortality,
Different.
For sure, and they would have thrown it off because this guy gets off too.
And I go to bed every night. Gee, man, I promise you that. What is up, Cowboys Nation? Boy, Mike Tag here with Jimmy Dee. I'm wearing the glasses today because I had a long weekend in Miami, South Florida, Hollywood to be exact. But we'll get into it. Before we get rolling, man, hit that like, hit that subscribe if you're new to the channel. This is the time of year where content creators earn their money, because they either got to make up a bunch of bullshit that sounds interesting, or we just got to figure some stuff out to talk about. So this is where the interaction with the chat is so important. Because it is the dog days. If you're a football fan, it's definitely the dog days of summer. Basketball we'll get into, and Jimmy Dee he's got a little bit of cowboy in him. The way it's have been all these years. It's just enough to break my heart. But Jimmy Dee, we'll get started with your Knicks, and I was watching the game. Like I said, I was down at Hard Rock. My nephew graduated. He was the last of what I call the three amigos. It was my brother's son, my daughter, and my other brother's son. They were all born a month apart. So they were all three graduated the same class, all three different schools. So you're talking about families running all over the place to try and get to everywhere. So it was a very busy week. And then, Dominic graduated.
Yeah.
And Kelly's son graduated. So it's like the Cowboys Cave had a bunch of kids at the same time, must have been working at the same time, because they all got pregnant around that time. And we got a bunch of graduations to go to. So we got a little break now. I got a 16-year break because my sister, her son is just turned 2. So I got a long way to go. I'll be, I might be pulling up in a wheelchair to go there, but we'll see what happens.
Well, that's the thing.
Ultra's in the chat.
Ultra.
Nick, what's going on with these Knicks, man? What's going on?
Well, first I got to say, I'll take a step back. Dominic graduated last week, but we did. We don't have any family his age up here, but we did it. There was him and 3 buddies, all grew up together, played hockey together, and were in the same school for most of their career, whatever you want to call it. So we did a graduation with 4 of them: Dominic and Camel Piper's son and 2 other close friends. And we rented out this this brewery type place. Let's just say we had some fun. It was a good time.
Got your money's worth.
Exactly. Well, they didn't get their money's worth. They didn't realize who they were going to have in their place that day. They undercharged us. Thanks, Rick. I appreciate it. But to the Knicks, it all started in game 1, big lead at home. And you see Ultra's talking about fire. Again, the Yankees are in first place. I still don't trust Boone. But Tibbs, what is he doing with a lead that big and just being complacent with 2.5, 3 minutes left in the game? So you blow a big lead at home, and then you say, you know what? Oh, you can come back from that. That's tough to come back from. You had it mentally.
Yeah.
Mentally. So then what? So then, we're down 2-0. We go in and we win in their house. But, the game on Saturday, the final game, it was close in the third quarter. We just didn't look good. And Brunson and Cat, I can't blame them because they're the reason why we went as far as we did. They didn't show up in the fourth quarter. And, Mark's been running his mouth on X. I love you, Mark, but your team was golfing before mine, and we put him there. Don't even want to hear it. But it's frustrating, and I don't know. What do you do? Somebody has to pay, and I think Tibbs has to pay. Coach has to pay. I'm sorry. some
Well, I
bad
mean,
calls.
someone has to pay. I mean, for that kind of debacle, for the Knicks, I mean, it was kind of, you thought with the Pacers got hot at the right time, I guess, right? I mean, that's kind of what happened. But you guys were the better team on paper, but I'm a Cowboys fan, so I sure the hell know that championships aren't won on paper; they're won on the field, and sometimes a better team doesn't win.
Well, and you know what it is too. Sometimes there's teams that it's destiny, right? I mean, look, I sat here a month ago and said it's going to be the Thunder and Cleveland in the finals. Now I was wrong about that, but look at it. It was the Pacers who beat them, right? I did not expect that, and maybe their team of destiny. Halliburton playing out of his mind, with the exception of Game 5. And you know what? I would have said again a month ago, Oklahoma City and Cleveland, and Oklahoma City is going to take it. I don't know, man. With the way the Pacers are playing, they're just, man, they look like a mature team.
I mean, you remember the Pacer-Nick rivalry. I mean, it was historic rivalry back in the day. You're talking about beating the hell out of each other, and the choke with Reggie Miller and the 1-for-17 game with Starks and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it was a rivalry, and you kind of saw that again. I mean, it was, as a casual fan of the NBA, it was a lot of fun because it brought back some memories of blowing. They blew a lead, you guys blew leads. It was just kind of a weird series. I know the last game pretty much they took their business the whole way, from start to finish. But so I mean, they could be a team of destiny. But I got to ask you, Jimmy, you're looking at this finals. What are the TV networks thinking?
Oh, they're pissed. Can you imagine? They had the Knicks in the palm of their hands. They had the Knicks in prime time for the finals, and it, just like that, down the drain. So they're probably, they're pissed. I mean, they got to be. I mean, at least if the Knicks were in there, you got, I mean, the biggest market in the country. So
and a great storyline.
And a great storyline. And so, they're pissed off. I mean, you got two smaller market teams. And the NBA, their viewership's been down this year as it is. So, I mean, they'll draw ratings, but not the way they would have with, let's say,
not with it. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to get the casual guys. You're going to get your diehard fan. And the crazy thing is, it's probably going to be a great series. It'll probably end up being a great series because that's what usually happens. The games that don't, you know what I mean? When you got these smaller teams that don't have all the limelight, it ends up being a pretty good basketball series. So.
Well, you know what it is too. It depends with Oklahoma City. It depends on how SGA shows up, and also Hartenstein, a man who was on the Knicks. I love Isaiah Hartenstein. He's just a beast. And if he's running the boards, maybe they beat the Pacers. But again, on paper, they beat the Pacers. The Pacers are a team of destiny. I said, I was goofing on the Lakers and they were going nowhere, and I was right. But can you imagine the Knicks and Lakers in the playoffs?
Oh my God!
The whole story with Luka and all that. That would have been priceless.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be.
I agree.
OKC's a better team, I think, right? And that,
of course, they are. Yes,
yeah.
But there's teams of destiny, man.
Yeah, and speaking of, you said tough guys and this and that. I wanted to share too. Next week we've got a great show lined up. One of the fan favorites, one of my favorites, is going to be back in the cave, and we're talking about big nasty Kevin Gogan is going to be in. So next Wednesday, make sure you guys do not want to miss it. He's going to be in there live. We're gonna find out what's going on with the life of Gogan. Those are guys who follow him on Instagram. He's an outdoorsman, and he does some crazy adventures. So it's going to be catching up with him, and then also talk about the Cowboys, talk about the new coach, talk about the offensive line, just kind of some of his thoughts. I know he doesn't follow the team as closely as obviously when he was playing, but it's going to be great insight into the mind. And we got a couple special guests that are going to be coming on the show as well to be part of it. So it's going to be a great show. I've got a couple others in the works. I got to reach out to Coach Campo. I wanted to see if he'd come back on, because with Shoddy being here, Campo was at the camp. They had some veterans there, some legends and old, alumni, and kind of get his thoughts on the challenges of a first-year coach, coming in, especially with the pressures of the Dallas Cowboys and this and that, and get some of his opinions on what he saw in the OTAs. So I'm working on getting him in as well. So we're going to try and fill some of the dog days with some guests and try and get some interviews and try and have some fun to get us through to training camp. But yeah, it's tough. So I'm looking forward to it.
And you know what? First of all, it's going to be very interesting and lots of fun, right? But Kogan, you're talking about tough. the best series, in my opinion, was Detroit, New York, because that was some 90s style.
Yes.
Round one, 90s style, old school. The refs let a lot of physical play. I mean, that reminded me of when we were younger, when there was these little touch fouls and all this crap. That was my favorite. You could say it was beating Boston because I can talk shit to Mark and a couple buddies of mine, but it was that Detroit series.
Yeah, and let me ask you this, because you bring up something. Yeah, Uncle Cheech is doing good. He lives he relaxes in the off season, but he's going to be coming back as well. He has his college football sleepers. He's been talking about it, so he's going to be coming on the show to kind of give some of his sleepers and college sleepers in the NFL as we get close to the season and some of the betting lines, and people are looking at over unders and things like that. So Uncle Cheech will definitely be coming. I know Ultra misses him, so we'll see. And yeah, we're going to talk about that as well. I got some thoughts on Michael Irvin, and I love what Michael Irvin has to say. But yeah, Casillas is another one. We've been talking back and forth coming into the cave, so trying to get that lined up because he was there as well. There's a few. Still working on Larry Brown's. We're gonna fill it in, man. I'm gonna try and keep us busy with some guys in here. If anything, Jimmy, we relive the glory days. That gives me an opportunity to relive some times when they won some championships, and hopefully the Cowboys we'll get to that. We'll get to that soon. But I wanted to ask something before we jump on the Cowboys and the NFL and just kind of talk about what's going on. A few storylines, but the WNBA. And I know you're laughing. But the thing I would say with the WNBA, at least what I see on certain players, they let them it gets pretty chippy. It gets pretty physical. Some of the hits and some of the fouls and some of this. And, I just curious. I know you don't really watch the WNBA too much, but do you see a difference with the WNBA as far as women seem to be very competitive sometimes? And
they are.
Sports, high school flag football, girls flag football is one of the most competitive physical sports I've seen at a high school level.
Well, and no, I'm not taking anything away from the women. What I'm saying though is, so the WNBA, as part of the NBA contract, the WNBA has to be covered on the networks that are covering the NBA. So it's subsidized. Yeah. Okay. So let's start by saying that. If a league needs to be subsidized by another league in their contract, that's a problem in and of itself. But there's definitely talent, but it's physical, but it's slower, right? So when you're watching, let's say the NBA, the guys, and it's fast and there's some physical play, it seems like grittier, right?
Yeah.
When the girls are moving a bit slower, but they do get physical, and you got all this, shit with Caitlin Clark.
Well, I saw Rick say with Reese and Clark. What I mean, and I don't want to get into all the stuff.
Right.
I mean, keep it to basketball and stuff like that. But you look at Caitlin Clark and what she's been able to do to kind of energize the WNBA. I mean, her ability to draw fans, and I kind of researched it one time. I was like, is it all BS or not? But they really draw. I mean, they're selling out arenas when she's there. And when she's not, it's, half full, quarter full. Why doesn't the players realize they could have a magic bird kind of moment where you can really build off it and try and get this, the WNBA, and get this league off the ground and kind of maybe become profitable? And you have star quality, the college basketball, women's college basketball is growing and growing. So you're getting these players that are well recognized, and they're not embracing. They're almost discouraging it. And it's almost like if I was Caitlin Clark or I was some of these other girls, I'd be like, well, screw you guys, man. Screw this league.
Right.
What do I need this for? I'll go make more money over in Europe. Than what I'm making here.
Well, it is. I'll take a step back. There's a moniker, controversy creates cash. And right now, there's more of the attention in the league because of the controversy and all the crap on social media than there is with Caitlin Clark, her actual playing ability. But you're right. Where she goes, they sell out. And they're biting off the hand that feeds them, right? I don't get it. I really don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, Jeff is 100% right. I haven't heard much on the WNBA. She got hurt. She's out for a couple weeks. And I don't know, man. I would think that you would just kind of embrace Caitlin Clark, and who cares? They want to make it about race, or they want to make it about,
It's ridiculous.
she's a married lady or boyfriend or whatever, whatever narratives they want to put in. I think it's all ridiculous. I mean, she's a lightning rod that can bring attention. I mean, it's almost like the Dallas Cowboys, the New York, people hate the Yankees. They love the Yankees, but people watch the Yankees. People hate the Cowboys. They love the Cowboys, but everyone watches the Cowboys. And you could try and get some interest and get some spark in there to try and get this league going. But they can't get out of their own way. I mean, it makes no sense. Jealousy, and I always say that watch Survivor. Watch the game, and I hopefully I'll get in trouble for saying this, but women, they allow their own either insecurities, jealousy, whatever you want to call it, screw them up in these games.
Yeah, I agree.
Survivor and Survivor, they have the majority, and they can just run it and do a women's only. And Big Brother, you're a Big Brother guy, you've watched it. It's the same thing with Big Brother. It's like they just mess it up, and it's like, why are you guys doing this?
No, and you know what it is? It's not. I mean, look, it's facts, right? So you and me, and this has happened in the past when we used to, we have it out, we're pissed off at each other or something. 5 minutes later, it's all, who cares, right? You get, guys are like that, except for the beta males out there, which, I mean, the Eagles fans and people like that. But women, it's different. They keep that grudge going and going. Yes. It's just like, just move on. And to your point, that's why it's always a grudge. It's who's jealous. And you guys, if there's any ladies in the audience, you want to comment on that, but it's true.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm dead wrong, and I'm not trying to be, anyway, it was just, that's what I see. And
he says what he feels.
I said what I feel. And it's frustrating because I think they missed a very good opportunity to try and get this league going. Cause you had the casual fans interested in it, and Paige is another one with Dallas, and I mean, you have an opportunity to really get this going. Yeah. So Rick, you and me we must watch this. We watch all the same shows. I love the Challenge. Challenge is the same way. I mean, I'll say to Rick, if he watches it, I mean, you look at all the, the girls in there, they do the same. It's the same thing. It's just, they get jealous and catty with each other. And the next thing you know, they turn, and they ruin everything. They're like, you guys can own this game. You got the advantage. Because the thing with the guys is they're pretty consistent, right? They don't turn you the guys that are the floaters, the ones that are going to be the alphas, the ones that are going to be and it's just like, man, it's just, I don't know why they continue to mess it up. But anyway,
no, I don't get it either. So the Challenge, ladies rule. Hey, the other one, Amazing. You're still watching the Amazing Race, right? You saw the final 2 weeks ago. We've been talking about this forever. Mike Tag and I got to get on the Amazing Race.
We got to try
our business. Exactly.
We got to. I don't know. I wonder how I'll do in some of those. I think traveling. I think you're really good at it. I've traveled a lot. I think we got the traveling part. There you go. The emotions. All right. So
Rhea's right all the time. Damn it.
Rhea, she agrees with me, so at least I'm not getting called out for that. So. How can we that choreographed dancing or this? We're in trouble. I mean, because
that's a problem.
We're going to run into it because they do that every challenge. And then the heights. I don't know are you good with heights? That's a problem.
I love heights, so it's all good.
Okay, so we got to plan it out. So you're going to handle it. I'm going to have to learn choreography. So if we get on the show, I'm going to have to go to the Arthur Murray Dance School, and I will get some choreography and understand, maybe I can get my daughter to help me with that too.
Hey,
figure it out.
Mark, give me 1 sec. One of the graduates last week, the mom owns a franchise, one of the Arthur Murray Dance Schools. So that'd be perfect.
Right? Then we're good. Then we'll be right there.
So real quick, Kelly said in the media, and certain Caitlin Clark fans are making a mountain out of a molehill, 100%.
They always do.
Mark, aloha, Mark.
Aloha, Mark.
Yes. What is this? Sports Transit. Imagine that was that. We would. Well, we're not going to. I don't. We appreciate that.
And it's. But I agree with them that sports should transcend.
Absolutely.
and race and all of that. And it's 100%. And I think for the most part, it does. I think you run into these problems where you've got, some people, they just can't get over the race, and everything's got to be about race. And my personal opinion, now you're talking about a kid who grew up in South Florida, and I'm thankful that I grew up in and I'll be honest, we have very diverse area. My schools, we go look up Coconut Creek High School, very diverse between, you had your white, black, Spanish. I mean, every race, it was about 33, and we all got along. We played sports, and race was never an issue at all. I mean, obviously you're going to have your problems, but that's with you're never going to get rid of the idiots in here. But then I go, my kids, and I think to them, it's a detriment. And I talked to my buddy about this, who's black, and he was saying the same thing. It's like, my kids go to a school that's probably 95% white. And I don't think that's good either. I think you need diversity, and you need, it's just, I think the media makes it worse. The media makes race about everything, whether it be political, whether it be in sports, whether it be in life. And I've been to 1 million Cowboys games. I tailgate. I always say most
cuts up here, it's Dominicans and Puerto Ricans, bro.
Cuts will attest. I am a friend of the minority community, because most of my followers and most of my buddies at the tailgates and most of my buddies at Cowboys games are minorities. And you know what? I'm a man of the people, and we have a great time. I've never seen race become an issue. I've never seen race be a problem at any games. And I love football games, because football games bring in all the races, all, levels of income. And it doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, middle class. We get down to the tailgate and we hang out, man. We're all equal. We're all brothers. We all have a great time. And I hate when they make race an issue in anything, because I think it's bullshit.
And the funny part is, like, and I don't use the term race, and you guys will kind of maybe chuckle and maybe it's semantics, but there's a human race, then there's ethnicity. So when you hear me talking about this shit, it's going to be ethnicity, right?
Yeah.
And who cares? If people are cool, I don't care what they're all about or what they are. It doesn't bother me none. I don't care if it's a person, green, black, or whatever. They're all great athletes, and I don't care what race you are. We're all human. People forget this.
They do.
Yeah, you're right.
And I would say a lot of times, look at the hate that Dak gets, you look at what Dak has in the comments, and I saw some coming across social media again. And it's like, if you don't like his play in the field, and you don't think he's the right guy for the Cowboys, man, fine, man, whatever. I mean, if you keep it on the field, I can respect that. I mean, there's enough argument that you could say, all right, Dak's not the guy that can lead us to the cow. If you really believe that, you could make an argument, and I probably have a hard time, defending it, but I will, and I can give my points as well. But when you take it personal, when you take it on his family, when you take it on his personal life, when you take it on his, his mother who passed,
off limits.
I mean, that's just ridiculous. Keep it the facts on the field. I respect it, and we can agree to disagree, or we may agree on it. But that's where I have trouble with all of that stuff.
Well, because people want to go to the lowest common denominator, knowing they're going to get they're fishing for a reply. That's all they're doing, saying stupid shit. Yeah, you keep that. Even if you're trash talking, you don't step out of bounds. Talking about family or none of this crap. That's awful.
And people do that. So people watch the show on ESPN like I do.
Exactly, just like you do. Right?
That's an inside joke.
It's an inside joke. And we gotta bust out the crank calls at some point. We should have done it this week. So now Rick said us on The Amazing Race, it would be hilarious us singing and dancing.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing. I got a rep to protect, and if I go out there and I go and make a fool of myself, what's gonna happen to me on social media?
Exactly.
Because I've already told my daughter does. Yeah, I'm gonna be in San Antonio with my people, and we're gonna have a great, as Cut said, we're gonna have a great. And this is the pre-Cowboys Cave you could say party, and everyone's welcome. Hopefully, I think Cuts agreed. That's what he said. So hopefully I'm safe in saying that. All you got to do is reach out to Cuts. I'm not going to give away dates, time. I'll let him handle that. But Cuts is all over the place on social media. Mike Tag's flying in on the Lear jet. I'm going to be coming in. It's going to be a great time. Kelly K9's going to be there. I believe Mark's going to be there. There's going to be a lot of people from the community, the Cowboys Cave community going to be there. So definitely hit Cuts up for the invite, and it's going to be a badass barbecue at the bar, Cuts Bar and Grill, as people say. So definitely check that out. That's coming up in a few weeks, man. I think it's June. Was it June 13th?
He said next week. That'll be the end of next week. And Cuts said, hit Cuts up for an invite.
Yes.
I wish I could go. That'd be fun.
That's going to be there. And I'm glad I said that next. Yeah, man, that time is flying.
That's because we're getting old. Remember when our parents said when you get older, time's going to fly and you're not going to wish school was out and all this crap. Now I'm upset that school's out because our last have graduated.
And I got to see, our buddy lives in San Antonio, and I was June 14th.
Yes. The biggest.
I don't know where he's at within that, but I got to reach out to him to see if maybe he can come over. That'd be Cuts that I'm allowed to bring. He's actually our oldest, I think maybe for you too, but I'll guarantee you say he's my oldest friend as far as years back. We've been friends since I want to say second grade, when I was in second grade, somewhere in there, first or second grade. So it'll be cool I hadn't seen him in a little while, so it'd be cool to see him.
No, you know what? And he'd probably go. I mean, you haven't seen him in forever. When did I last see him? It's been a while, and it sucks because you know what, with family and life and all that, just gets in the way. Yeah, exactly. So hit him up. I'm sure he'll go. He'll go.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk. I cut my finger as I'm talking. They're talking. I scratch and pick the scab. So I wanted to talk about maybe the Cowboys and really NFL in general. But
why don't we first, because we talked basketball.
Yeah.
Why don't we hit on hockey real quick before we?
I saw hockey. Right? I didn't see that. So we got Edmonton and Florida, and I know my man Big C's. He's all over the damn place.
Big C's, I tell you, and I was going to bring him up later in the show, but now that you did, Big C's So there's a guy, Paul Bisonet. He is an announcer on TNT Sports for hockey, and he's he's a big hockey guy. He's on Spittin' Chicklets, which is a show, a podcast. But anyway, so he was a Toronto fan, but he's rooting for the Canadian team. And Big C started taunting him online when the Panthers were playing the Maple Leafs.
Saw that. Yes.
They picked it up. Biz picked it up, retweeted it, and he's blowing up now. And I love it because he's a good guy. So if you guys check out the Big C's podcast. I know if you go on my timeline on X, he's on there. Maybe if you get a chance, you can retweet him, Mike. You guys liked him on the show last month, and he's got a good thing going. So
we'll definitely get him in the in for football because he's a Cowboys fan too, and he's from that the 305 where I'm from.
Yes,
and we gotta meet up down there one of these times. I don't go to a lot of hockey games down there, but I do go to the Hard Rock. So if Big C's is down there, you have to meet us down there one time. So
so he's hilarious. Need to bring him back. So Oilers and Panthers. So let's get to that because I sat here a month ago and said it's going to be the Dallas Stars and the Florida Panthers. Yeah. Well, again, I was half right. And what happened? Jake Ottinger, goaltender for Dallas Stars, he shit the bed. I said goaltending and grit is what gets you to the Stanley Cup final, and he just didn't play well 3 of those games, and that's the result. And I don't know. I would have preferred to see the Stars in Florida. Can you imagine like 2 Sun Belt teams playing for the Stanley Cup?
But I think whenever you get a Canadian team in there, kind of gets that, a little bit more of a rivalry, right? Because you got United States and Canada. So you do bring in all the fans in the U.S. that, all right, we got to, gets that, American spirit and this and that. So let's beat the Canadians and yada, yada. And the Canadians feel the same way. So it'll make it a good matchup. But I think Panthers seem like they're,
locked and loaded. Oilers, Panthers, great tough. And that's the beauty of it. It's going to be a tough series. And I think it's going to be the Panthers in 6. They got goaltending, they got grit. And I'm sorry, I still don't buy Skinner, Edmonton, their goaltending. I'm sorry, I just don't. I just think that they took advantage of Ottinger having a bad series for Dallas.
Yeah, No. Well, I'm going to trust you because I don't know shit about it, but I will I will do a PSA because Chris, let me throw Chris's on there.
Yep.
So I secured my tickets. They did a no fee day. So we have got the tickets. The crew will be going down Miami, Notre Dame. I will not miss a Miami Notre Dame game, especially down in Miami. It's probably one of the greatest historic rivalries for me, for the Canes, just because there was a lot of hatred, the Catholics versus the convicts, and the fumble that wasn't, and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
There was so many storylines with Notre Dame. That God made Notre Dame number one, the Canes made them number two. I mean, there's so many slogans and things out there. I'm definitely going to that one, but I had to do it at probably the risk of not going to the Florida Miami game because, you know, I'm going to go to the Giant Cowboy game. My son and I are going to do a turn and burn special. We're going to fly out in the morning, fly back that evening. So we're flying in and out on Sunday and just going to the game, home opener. And then you've got Notre Dame was before that. Then you've got Dallas, Philly. Then you've got, like I said, the Giants a week in between. And then you've got the Packer, you know, the tailgate there. So I can't go to 4 out of 5 games or 5 out of 6, whatever it was. So I don't know if I'll be going to the Florida game, but Notre Dame, Miami. I mean, you remember that.
No brainer. It's old school. Like you said, the Catholics, convicts. I mean, you can't pass that up.
Yeah.
Especially Notre Dame. They played great last season. Eh? Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Yeah. But they lost a quarterback. We lost our quarterback. We obviously lost some players, but we got players. And with the transfer portal and NIL and all that stuff, teams change quickly. I think for the Canes, if Beck can be the real deal that he was in Georgia, I think the Canes defense is good. They got a new coordinator. They're going to be much better. I think schematically they're going to be better. I think the skill positions. Miami's always had skill guys, so I think it's going to be a really good. It's going to be a good season for Miami. But hey, they're starting off with Notre Dame. They got Florida shortly after that. They've got a tough schedule. So it's, you know, last year the schedule hurt them, which they're out of conference schedule. I mean, they had Florida on there, but no one expected Florida to shit the bed the way they did, or Florida State. So that didn't help them. So, I mean, they should be much improved with Florida State being better. Florida's going to be better. Because they got DJ is going to be the quarterback that wasn't the quarterback in the Miami game. He came on later. And then obviously Notre Dame, which obviously, you know, that brings a lot of attention in itself. So no excuses if Miami is able to put together a season like they did last year, not at least getting in the tournament to play. So we'll see what happens.
You know what? I want to know. I have one of our friends, and I don't look at my phone, but I peek down, close friend texting me right now. You know it's Monday night. You know we're on the podcast in the cave. So you text me at this time. Damn it!
Show a little bit of respect.
Show a little respect. Exactly.
But looking at, I was going to mention that I saw Ultra. I think you maybe on talking about that. I mean, with their All Pro center Frank retiring, that's a big loss. I mean, anyone who knows when you have an all-pro center that is kind of your guy, there is a drop-off with your line. I mean, the Cowboys felt it with Frederick. And I think it's just something that, you know, they're like the quarterback of the line. And, you know, they do the calls, they do this, and there is going to be a drop-off. That's a big loss for Detroit. Yes, obviously, they lost their coordinator. That's a big loss. So Detroit, you know, the NFC as a whole, it's tightened up. I mean, there's obviously the Eagles are returning Super Bowl champions. You got to give them their credit. But there's no unbeatable team. They're all pretty much, you can plug and play 6, 7, 8 of them probably, to where the AFC, the pecking order is pretty much set in stone with the Chiefs, and you've got the Bills, and then you've got the Ravens. You know, then you got some teams that might do something, maybe not, but the NFC is wide open, just like it was last year.
Well, but you know what the funny part is? Who would have predicted the NFC turning out the way the Eagles? Carl says the Eagles are unbeatable. I don't know about that, but you know, look at who would have thought with all the injuries and all that it would have played out like that in the NFC last season? No Niners or Cowboys in the playoffs, and for that matter, look at with our weak division And with Cousins starting the first 6 games doing great, I never would have thought we wouldn't have made the playoffs.
We were arguing,
crazy.
we were debating if the Falcons could sneak in as a number 1 or 2 seed
Yes.
because of the schedule, because of the division that they're in. They should be able to get 6 wins or 5 wins, and you win a few others. Now you got an opportunity to run it. So and Barkley cover. I mean, and the Madden, I got in trouble for saying that because I was like, Madden curse. Could that happen to And I would never want anyone to get hurt. I don't wish any player, but there is something weird with the Madden, cover. Bad luck just seems to follow who's on there. Now it's happened. I think the Ravens won the Super Bowl with Ray Lewis on there. I think someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I think there's been times where the cover really didn't matter, but there's a lot where the cover did for whatever reason. I don't know.
And that's like the chunk. Remember the Campbell's chunky soup curse?
Yes.
I don't know what it is, man. It's just bad luck.
Yeah, I forgot about the
Carl wants to bet you. He wants to bet me. I'm not betting. I don't bet on my own team. That's been my rule for a long time.
To be honest with you, am I surprised if the Eagles beat the Cowboys at home? Not really. Do I think the Cowboys will win? Sure, I'm a fan. I think they're going to win. I think the Cowboys are going to split with Eagles more than likely. I mean, Cowboys will win at home, Eagles will win at home, and so be it.
When you play the Eagles in Philly, what time of the year?
Opening day.
That's right. It is opening day. That's right. I forgot about that.
And the opening record of the defending Super Bowl champion, I think it's like 13-5. It's a big advantage. I mean, being at home, the hype, everything that's it's electric. The NFL kickoff, it's a big advantage. I went to the one in Dallas, or not in Tampa, and we lost. It was kind of a sloppy game. It wasn't a very good game, which usually the first games are kind of like you don't know what you're going to get. The defenses are usually ahead of the offenses because the offenses don't play at all in preseason.
They don't play at all anymore. None. Right.
So if there's a chance for upset, first game is of the season for everyone is usually there. But the problem of the first game of the season, it's got a lot of hype, a lot of pressure, a lot of, the team's at home, they're doing the ceremonies, and it was a big spectacle. When I went to the Tampa one, it definitely, it had a Super Bowl playoff kind of atmosphere because of all the stuff that surrounded it.
Yeah. So Chris is thinking you'll split with Philly. Yeah, Tampa Bay, I mean, we should beat them. Again, last year was just a fiasco at the end of the year, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
I think look, we open at Tampa. We open against
them. It comes down to your quarterback. It comes down to it's going to be is he going to be able to take that next step, or will there be any drop off because you have the offensive firepower to be able to
right.
do what you need to do. You drafted the end, so you're going to put some pressure on your draft picks, right? You need them to be instant impact. You traded back into the first round for another defensive lineman.
Yes,
so
that's right.
There's going to be, those guys are going to be asked to be impact guys. First round draft picks are asked to be impact guys.
And on defense, I think it's an easier scenario on defense to be an impact guy right off the top, in my opinion, right? But you're talking about Michael Penix. I mean, there's already, and we don't have the same drama you guys have in Dallas, but there's still the bullshit. And there's already, I saw something today about, Penix, is he going to screw up? His cousin's going to be back and all this. And they just kept Cousins because they're worried about Penix. It's the usual crap. And then what sucks is with a young guy like that, it puts a lot of pressure on him. But I guess that when you're in the big leagues, that's what you got to deal with.
Yeah. And I mean, in a perfect scenario, I mean, they're paying him, so it'd be great. And I think Kirk Cousins is a stand-up guy, and he's a professional, and he would help because I think Penix could benefit from having a good vet. Because if you don't have Cousins, who do you have?
Well, he's okay. So Matt Ryan has been working in the off season, and he'll continue to work with Penix into the training camp. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, no, that's good. But it's good that who would be your veteran behind them though? Who's on your roster that?
Kirk Cousins, and then we signed who the hell? Jesus, he was a first round draft pick for San Diego, like in 2016. His name escapes me. We signed him about a month and a half ago. I'll remember.
You don't even remember.
No, you don't hear about it. So So Chris says you got firepower, and I think you got better on D. Yeah, I love the draft, man. We drafted exactly what we needed. So again, hopefully, they make an impact of Pierce and Walker. Hopefully, they make an impact.
It's a crapshoot. It's a crapshoot.
Easton, that's it. Easton, thanks, Rick. I appreciate it. Easton stick.
All right. Well, that's not. I mean,
not a veteran.
I see why you forgot him. I see why you forgot the name. So that's going to be a problem. There's going to be a lot on Penix. There's going to be a lot on Penix and there's nothing behind him. So it's going to be all on him. It's going to be all. But he's an older kid. He's got a lot of talent. Yeah. He gave him a little bit of a spark. I mean, there was times where you could definitely see that ability that he has. Yes. So he's a Tampa kid. So I'm going to root for anyone from the hometown. So hopefully he does well. So anyway,
and the funny part with Penix, I mean, he can run out of the pocket and throw, but he's not a big time running quarterback. He's not going to. He'll stretch it out and get the yards he needs, but he ain't running all day long like Vic did in the past for us. So, but man, when he's got that Mike Vick kind of flick of the wrist, yes,
deep pass is one of the best in the business.
It is. Yeah. I'm telling you. So that's why I'm all hype about him, and hopefully, knock on wood, remember he had knee injuries in college. Hopefully that doesn't come back.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Kelly,
we got
people blocking people. Everyone's getting blocked.
Carl blocked Kelly. Carl blocked you.
Well,
was he a coward? Carl, you're not a coward. Come on.
He's a coward. So let me. I wanted to comment on the Cowboys OTAs. Michael Irvin. There was a lot of which I embrace. I embrace it when you have your former alumni, guys who've been there, the guys who've won championships, guys have seen it and done it, go there and intermingle with the current players, these young guys, and impart some wisdom, maybe share some stories, do some motivation, whatever the case may be. It's never a bad thing. And so Michael Irvin, I saw Casillas there. Like I said, Campo was there. Kevin Smith was there. They had Russell Maryland, I think it was there. There's just a lot of guys from obviously the 90s. You had DeMarcus Ware was there. Brady James was there. So you had a few different eras. The Cowboys probably from, I would say, the Jerry Jones era. That's probably the safest thing to say. But Randy White, I saw a picture with Randy White and Sam Williams. So maybe, there was some old school guys there too. But it was interesting, Michael Irvin, because when Michael Irvin, when the job was open, Michael Irvin was really pushing for Dion. And he was very upset when they went with Shoddy. And he said, I hope I'm wrong, but he made some points that made me think, and I'm like, man, maybe did they not make the right hire? But like anything in life, I mean, I'm going to roll with the punches, and I'm going to give whoever it is their fair shot and give them see how they give them their opportunity, right? So, and Michael Irvin kind of said the same, not so many words, but he was very adamant about questioning if this was the right move. And to hear what Michael Irvin said when he went there and got to be around Shoddy and got to be around, the players and got to be around the other coaches and got to be around all that kind of stuff, made you feel better. And I mean, the thing I would say with Michael Irvin is, he don't pull punches. I mean, he's going to be honest. He says it like it is, and he can. He's a 3-time Super Bowl champion. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a national champion. I mean, he's won at every level of competition. So he has I'll listen to what he says. And he had a lot of things to say about the Cowboys. And I think with the Cowboys, talent's never been the issue. It's right. It's the culture. It's the want. It's the noise in the ad. Can you block that out? And culture. So far, Shoddy has done everything that you'd hope that he could do from a leadership standpoint. Now, football's won on the field. Let's just, let's cut all the rah-rah and the kumbaya stuff about all of this other thing. End of the day, it's won on the field. And it's going to be Dak Prescott and Micah Parsons being the leaders on both sides of the ball, elevating and getting the best out of this team and making sure everyone's held accountable and making sure everyone's doing the right thing. That's ultimately how they're going to win a championship. I mean, Shoddy can do his part and yada, yada, but it's going to be up to the players on the field and the leaders on the field, because this team has been pushed around, has been bullied, has been embarrassed. when teams come out and smack them in the face. That's just a fact. We got to own it, and hopefully it changes, but that's the reality of the Cowboys the last 10 plus years.
Now, you see, we obviously, Raheem Morris got a bad rap in Tampa. You know what? I am happy he changed it. And you said culture. Culture is huge. I don't care what anybody says. Raheem Morris changed the culture in the Falcons locker room. It's just, like you said, the culture is great and all, but you need to translate that to wins.
Yeah, it's got to be, like you said, don't sing it, bring it. But I think what Shotty's doing, and
what Scott Hall said,
you look at, Eberflus, and we were debating this on a team, the defense. And I love all my content guys, and I love them. And I know that there's a portion that's going to be very pro Cowboys. There's going to be some in the middle, and there's going to be some that just want to be negative to be negative. And I'm a fan. I'm a fan first. I'm a fan of the Cowboys. That's just my life, right? So I'm always going to be the half full person. And that's just the way. That's the way I am as a fan. It's the way I am in life. When I'm at work, I don't live in the world of negativity. I mean, I don't want to hear how we can't get it done. I want to hear how we can get it done. Let's get to work and get it done, kind of thing, right? So
yes.
I understand the arguments on the defense. I mean, they did not do enough on paper to improve the defensive tackles. And the Cowboys have been smacked in the face. They've been run on, yada, yada. I mean, make no bones about it. I mean, you can't hide from it. But my question always is could the scheme help, right? They made some free agent signings. They did the draft and all that. But no one that's going to get you excited. But how many times have you seen huge signings not work? And you're like, man, the guy was a superstar at this team, but he couldn't do nothing here. Because he was in a bad fit. It wasn't a good scheme, and they didn't use him right. And so I look at the Cowboys, and maybe Eberflus feels his scheme can get the most out of the players on this roster who they signed in free agency, who have already here, who they drafted. And he's proven that. His track record has proven that success in Indianapolis and in Chicago on the defensive side when he turned around the worst run defense to the best run defense. So that's the hope that you have if you're looking at half full, because offensively, I don't think the Cowboys with Pickens, and I just don't think there's going to be any issues on offense. I think they're going to be fine. Defense is going to still be the big question mark for this team.
Scheme is big, and I agree with that. You get guys who are studs, and then they go into, like you said, it happens. It's not a good fit. Or they fit in that scheme, and I believe in that. So if you're running the right schemes and you're running a scheme that is adapts to the personnel you got, that's all you need. That's what you need.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a whole defensive line, but if you're watching the Cowboys, they got just bullied in the interior defensive line. They did. I mean, that's just I'm not gonna sugarcoat it any other way, but I do know. I mean, and DeMarcus Lawrence, he's going to be missed. I mean, he was one of our defensive ends that was stout against the run. I mean, he was a great run stopper from the defensive end, and they are going to miss that. And we had James Washington, a two-time Super Bowl champion with the Cowboys on, and we were talking about Micah Parsons, and he said Micah Parsons' job, and he said this was the case when the Cowboys, when he played and it was Haley, is you go get the quarterback. You don't worry about the run. We'll take care of the run. The linebackers and the safeties will come up, whatever that's got to be. Your job is to go get that quarterback. And I mean, that's what Parsons is best at. That's the way he can do the most damage. So I don't think he's ever going to be this unbelievable run stopping defensive end. I think he's a pass rusher, and he's gonna wreak havoc in the backfield, and that's what he's paid to do. So
we got Kelly. Kelly's in the hat. Kelly,
what's
going on, Kelly? Texas Tech up 2-0 early on the Sooners.
That's in the that's in the baseball, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Miami
College World Series. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know Kelly was going back at it with someone about, I thought it was softball, or maybe he just posted that, because at Texas Tech, I'm telling you, Texas Tech has been making moves in all their sports. And I was thinking of Kelly. I was at my nephew's graduation. Yeah, women's softball.
Women's softball.
Women's softball. There you go. I was at my nephew's graduation, and man, there's one of their athletes. I believe it was one. I think it might have been baseball, or it was one of their sports. Is going to Texas Tech. So I was like, there you go, getting some talent from the 305, the 954 heading over your way. So, but Texas Tech is making moves. And I tell you, Uncle Cheech,
bunch of overgrown maniacs.
Yeah, Uncle Cheech is going to have some words for Kelly. I don't know if they're going to be good or bad, but he has Texas Tech on his mind in football, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
So we got an All-American pitcher, that oil money, like Jerry Ewing, baby.
But that's what NIL, and I tell people that NIL is the equalizer, and Alabama doesn't have a lot of that money. You know, Texas Tech, Texas, Miami has the drug money. There's certain universities that you can get. You know, they paid that lineman $6 million. Miami got the best lineman out of high school. I don't even know if he's out of high school yet. Maybe he's a senior this year, but he's like a monster, and they paid him like $6 million.
Mark is here to taunt me.
Oh,
and he's saying hi to everybody else. And Kelly's saying what's up to
that's
Jack.
me. That's me. That's me.
It's not very nice. You know,
No.
It's funny. So you know me with college. I'm not College Station. Which is that's Texas, right?
That's A&M.
A&M. So Dominic, he actually got accepted at Texas A&M. The thing was, because he's out of state, they said you're accepted, yada yada. They gave him a few bucks because he got some brains, you know. But they said you need to do remote year 1, then you can come on campus year 2. No.
Well, I tell you what, Texas A&M. If I could do a Rodney Dangerfield and go back to school, I went to the A&M Miami game there. I don't know if you'd ever see your son again if you went to A&M. I don't know if you ever forget. He'd never come back.
Really?
He'd never come back.
Yeah.
He'd never come back. He'd never come back.
Well, that's what I think my wife.
You'd be like, Dad, I'm hanging here for the summer. I'm gonna see what I can do here.
Probably one of the reasons why my wife didn't want any part of that.
Probably. I mean, probably one of the nicest campuses I've seen, easily. Stadium, just the atmosphere and everything around it. That was, I mean, it was it was a badass place. I can't hate on A&M, but they got some money too. So there's a lot of these teams that got their money, and you got some of these powerhouses, traditional powerhouses, that really don't. Like Alabama doesn't have the money that Auburn has.
Really?
So yeah, I mean it's wow. Wait. I mean, see how it plays out. I think if the NIL and all that money gets to be a bigger impact, I think you're going to see Alabama is going to get. They're just going to get worse and worse, and they're going to fall down, and they're not going to be able to. They're having a hard time retaining their guys, and I think they're going to have a hard time recruiting their guys because it's coming down to money. I mean, Texas Tech had the number one NIL transfer recruit, however way you want to put it. And Miami was right up there. I mean, look at the schools. It was all kind of the team, schools that were dishing out a lot of capital. So now you can put, you could turn your teams around. So like, Kelly and I were talking about but you could get teams that could turn it around. I mean, you look at Texas Tech and what they've done, they could turn it around quickly. So it gives that fan base a hope and opportunity, and that's all you can ask for.
So I don't know if you saw Mark and Chris were loving up Texas A&M and College Station. Rick is saying I think the college playoffs are going to go to 16 teams in 26.
I think so. I think
why wouldn't they? It's a moneymaker. Why wouldn't they?
It's money. It's all about money. It's all about money. Yeah, I was at that game. It was one of the best atmospheres, college football games outside of the old Orange Bowl. In a big game, the Orange Bowl still to me was the greatest atmosphere you could have in a big game. Had to be Florida, Miami, Florida State, Miami, Penn State, Miami, Washington, Miami. Back in the day, best atmosphere. Oklahoma, Miami, those were the best atmospheres. Notre Dame, obviously. But A&M, that stadium, how loud it was, the crowd. Like I said, your kid would have never come back.
So let me ask you this. So we're talking about, what about football, NFL football? What do you think is the biggest, the stadium with the most hype and exciting and all that stuff?
I haven't been there. And if anyone in the chat has, Nebraska back in the day, it probably still does now because they sell out. But when they were a powerhouse, that was another great atmosphere. I guess I'd have to say the Chiefs is what I hear, but I've never been there. Seattle, I was going to say Seattle would be another one, but I think the Chiefs, everything I heard about the Chiefs and the atmosphere, and they don't sit the whole time. It's like, that's the way the Orange Bowl was. When you got there from kickoff to the end, you were standing. And I think with the Cowboys and like some of these other ones that have the fancier stadiums and this and that, people want to sit, and he says, "Hey, I paid $1,500 for my seat. I want to sit in the cushion and relax." I think that kind of hurts like the atmosphere, right? You don't have that raucous fan base, the fans that you have. It is corporate, and I hate to say it, it is, but that's what a lot of stadiums are now. And when you build these new stadiums, it's just like they were talking about building the Jaguars. They were going to do to the Jaguars, they're going to do the Dolphin type stadium. It's like, why would you not have a dome like in Florida in the heat?
Yeah, and when it's 600 degrees out.
Here, you want the atmosphere, but now you're asking people to pay $500, $600, $700 a ticket. I'm not going there to sweat my ass off, and I sure the hell ain't going there to freeze my ass off.
No.
Otherwise, I'll just watch it on TV.
Oh no, but Colgate. So Chris saying KC, Denver, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh can be insane. I'll tell you. So I've been to,
Pittsburgh. I've been to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's, I don't know. I wouldn't. It's good, but I don't think it's to the level of Kansas City.
I've been to either 6 or 7 current NFL stadiums and 2 that aren't around anymore. Georgia Dome and Orange Bowl. So that being said, Buffalo. And remember, Buffalo's getting a new stadium. It's going to be ready season after next. Buffalo, bar none, is the most fun tailgating inside. Even after the game outside. And in the winter, in a winter snow game, it's even better. Right. So I don't know. So like you said, how's that atmosphere going to change when they go to this new stadium that my taxpayer money is funding, mind you? How's it going to be when they go there? Buffalo, Rick, there you go.
Yeah, Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo could be one. I guess I would say any of the traditional, the teams that have been around for a while, very loyal fan base, and an older school type stadium. I think once you get to the Cowboy Stadium, the Falcon Stadium, the Raider Stadium, the LA Stadium, you start getting into these very luxury. Minnesota. Think about Minnesota back in the day when they were playing at that outdoor stadium. Probably how that was. I've been to Minnesota. It's a great atmosphere, but it's not. I mean, college to me doesn't. College destroys the NFL when it comes to atmosphere.
And I agree with that.
Not even close.
I agree with you on that. Yes, it's more fun. It's just more hype. There's more energy. You feel it more. Garland saying Levi at the 49ers, right? Levi Stadium.
Yeah, that's. I don't know if I'd put that one in there, but I've never been there. So,
hey, Chris, I hate to say it, Philly.
Never been to Philly
game. I have no desire to go. No desire to go there.
Yeah. So,
but Kelly's agreeing.
Yeah.
Oh, horse shit and catching herpes.
Oh, there you go.
And getting mugged. And getting mugged or beat up.
If Kelly said one compliment about Philly, I did crazy. Chicago's not bad. Kutch, you're going to be there.
Well, you were there.
It was. I mean, I went there in the worst possible conditions. It was the coldest game in Soldier Field history. It was negative, so that probably didn't help the atmosphere because everyone was freezing. But Chicago, maybe because their team hasn't been good for a while, maybe that obviously hurts some of the atmosphere. But Kansas City, I don't know. Kansas City.
Damn YouTube and their missed notification. I looked at YT and I'm like,
you gotta hit that alert bell. You got to set that.
I thought he was saying Whitey. Damn Whitey. And their missed notification. YT YouTube.
Oh, YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
Jimmy.
I looked at that for a second. Oh, I thought it'd been funny.
Yeah. But hit that subscribe and like and share while we're doing this. And we're just kicking it. It, like you said, it's a very slow week. Kelly's in the chat, so Kelly knows that we got our work cut out for us on Wednesday's show. But next Wednesday, we've got Big Nasty Kevin Gogan coming back into the cave. So that's going to help us out. That's going to give us a solid show next Wednesday. So you'd want to tune in. We got my man DMV is going to be a guest as well. We've been kind of talking, and he had some good questions for Gogan, and we're talking about running game, and we're talking about offensive line. So, why?
And Kelly got a new mic.
Oh, well, we're going to because this is what I'm going to say with my man Kelly. If he's coming in choppy, and I mean, we got a rep to protect. We're gonna have an esteemed guest in next Wednesday. He's got to be on point. I'm putting it out there for Kelly. Otherwise,
what we need the Wi-Fi and the mic to come. Like, was it yoga? It's all Zen and all that shit needs to come together.
Yeah, so, I remember. I saw Kelly's post. So my brother
and Cuts beat me. Cuts and I look at you. See, we both have smarts. We're on the same page.
Yeah. If not, I mean, Kelly's going to be barred from that because I cannot. When we have esteemed guests in there, we got to make sure that we're on. We've got to be looking good. Got to be looking good. So,
okay, so thumbs up the video and consider. Hey, you know what? Mike's got all. I got to up this X following or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Jimmy Dee 1974. I should put it up there.
Not following Jimmy Dee?
No, well, you know what? I'm mostly to blame for that. So so Jimmy Dee 1974. Tell your friends. Kelly, my laptop is dated. It's dated. Oh, okay. Wi-Fi's good.
Cowboys Cave. We're gonna have to do a Cowboys Cave investment GoFundMe. We gotta do a Cowboys Cave. We gotta get my man Kelly a new laptop. It's for the show. It's for the show. Oh, you guys are killing Kelly. You got to give him a chance to defend himself.
Exactly. So,
but I was saying, what was I saying, Jimmy? I was saying
we were talking about next week on the show. Kevin Gogan will be back.
Yeah. So we got we're going to be doing we're going to do that, and we're working on a couple others. So hopefully we can get a couple other champions into the cave because we're gonna get this summer thing right and try and get us through this stuff. And definitely, I'm not the whole algorithms and the SEOs and all that. I'm not an expert. I need to probably get someone who is to help, because a lot of that is all in how you word it. And one of the things that it does is, and I've been researching something, you got to create like some topics, like you got to make things that gotcha kind of, you know what I mean? What do they call that?
Clickbait.
I'm not good at clickbait. It's like I'm me, man. I like what I say is from my heart. What I do my own thumbnails for the show. I do the titles and I told Kelly he should be the writer because he's a little bit more creative than I am when it comes to words. But let me tell you this before we wrap it up because I saw the white. I think Kelly said he preferred saltine, right? There you go. There's $2. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Lunatic.
Cornerback and D tackle. To me, the bigger worry is D tackle. I think because if the D tackles get annihilated, I really don't know. Cornerback's not really going to matter. To where I think the D tackle can hold their own. I think our edge rushers are very, very good. We're definitely upgraded there. And I think the best friend to cornerbacks is a pass rush. And I think we'll get to the quarterback. I don't know, Jimmy, what do you say?
No, I agree with you that that is the biggest friend to a cornerback. If you're not getting it on the quarterback and he's got all day long to throw, where are you going? Right? Yeah. He's gonna be trying your cornerbacks all day long. The D tackle is thin and unproven, Kelly says.
All right. Well, let me get my story, and then we got.
Then he's got to go watch his stories.
I got to watch my stories. But Kelly said saltine, which maybe my brother. Anyone who knows my one brother, he should have been a writer for a comedy show, like sketch comedy or sitcom comedy. He's the quickest wit. And when high school, like I said, we all went to a pretty diverse school. He would go up. he would go up to the brothers in the, the cafeteria, and, you get crackers, and you get like your cake, and you get all this stuff. And he used to go up to him and goes, "Hey man, can you give this white cracker a cracker?" And they would just laugh and give him the pack of saltines, because he loved crackers. You'd get it. And but that was a day when you could, we could joke about race, and no one ever got sensitive about it. We'd say, like the George Jefferson era honky, and all
Archie Bunker, George Jefferson, Fred Sanford,
and Archie Bunker. You could just have fun with it. No one took anything serious. And nowadays, everyone is just so sensitive.
What about the time? So the same brother he's talking about, his Mike Tag's brother, he got a traffic ticket, and we had to go up like an hour and a half north. So we get to the courtroom, and there's everybody's there, and the judge says, "Okay," and he's giving all the rules. He's, "There can be no shorts or hats in this place." So I got shorts, I got a hat. We're an hour and a half from home, so we go to like Walmart's or Kmart, whatever the hell it is. And I find the cheapest, money was tight. Find the cheapest thing I could. And it was like putting on like, if it was 1300s England, and I was putting on like shit that I'm going to go jousting with. I'm fun putting these on. I'm like, damn it, man, like this. So we get back to the courtroom, and I'm sitting there, and I hear behind me, "Look at that white boy with those tight ass jeans." I don't even know how I moved in those things and how they didn't split, but that was the funniest shit. That made my day. My $9, my $9.
Yeah, like the pants where they don't even move. You can't even fold them or bend them or nothing like that. They're just like, yeah. But it was great. And it was funny because I was looking, the old high school and stuff, and they, there were rap videos made at the school, like at the school property now, and so I'm looking through it. It's like, yeah, I remember that high school. And but I think those are the best times. I don't want to get on a tangent of, but I think being able to, you grow up with diversity, it's the best thing for kids, and it's the best thing for the country and everything. I don't know. It's just my own opinion.
No, it is too. And here's where social media is a blessing, obviously, because it enables all of us to hang out and have a good time on a Monday night. But it's also a curse where people just pile on with this shit about just have fun. Everybody can separate. Let's be honest here. You can separate joking and fooling around and messing around from true hate and rudeness. Yeah. People can pick that, snuff that out anywhere. So just have fun, people. That's all.
Yeah, everyone has stereotypes. We're all, you can stereotype every
of course.
Person.
Look at Rick, a good call. So Hot Lips Houlihan, Loretta Swit, remember on a MASH? She passed away.
Did she really?
Yeah.
I wasn't a big MASH person. I
love MASH. Love MASH.
I wasn't.
And she had those knockers bouncing all over.
Were they all over? I tell you, I was at the Hard Rock, and I'm just going to say this. Anyone who goes down to Hollywood, if we get a game, you go there, and it's unbelievable. And I kind of sometimes forget who I'm with. I'm just not paying attention, and maybe I'm too comfortable in my marriage, and my wife and I have been married for 22 years. We're best friends, and we hang. When she goes out of town, I stare at the wall. I'm like, what? I got no friends. I have friends, but it's like we always do everything together. That when she's gone, it's like, now what am I going to do? I got nothing to do. Where are we going? And so we're walking through the casino, and I'm a guy, so I'm not blind, and the lady's walking with just the biggest chest, wearing a white, very sheer shirt, no bra. So you basically see everything that you need to see. And I'm walking. I said, look at that, look at that, look at that. And I'm like pointing at her. I'm pointing like tapping my wife. I said, look at that, look at that, look at that. And she's like, what? And she's looking. I said, what? And she's like, what am I looking at? As we're walking. And then when the lady goes by, I said, you didn't see the girl in the white shirt? And she goes, why the hell would I be looking for that? Why are you talking to me? But I just forget. We went there one time, and my brother and I were walking. They was there. My brother and I were walking, and this lady, she was. Yeah, she was a lady. She was in her 40s or 30s or whatever. She's walking, and it's like the shirt, the shirts that kind of like go this way.
Yes.
And
yes.
if it's not on right, I mean, one could be sticking out and they don't even know, especially when they're fake. So we're walking, and it was my brother and a buddy of ours, and my wife was there, and I'm like, she could see the look on my face, and I just have this huge smile, and my brother has a smile. I say, "Man, you see it? Can you see it?" And my wife's like, "What are you guys laughing at?" And then she looks, and the lady must have saw our face. Yes. Her friend did, and her friend looked over, and she goes, and she said, pull your shirt up. And we all just, they passed by us, and we were laughing our asses off. It was all in good fun. But when you can find someone like that in your marriage that you could joke around and do that kind of stuff, and you're not getting yelled at, and you're not being called, "Oh, what do you want her?" Or, some stupid thing like that. My wife usually, that's when you got a good marriage. That's when you got. Of
course, man. You can have fun. You can, like you said, I'm 25 years next week, June 10th, and it's like you said, when you can be in addition to being married, we can be friends and have fun. That's huge. Like, now, getting back to, we're on a good topic here. What about the women who, they're dressed, semi-tight shirt, but they're wearing the purse with the strap?
Oh,
kind of put
perfectly. I was like,
perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. And I know you got your stories, but do you remember the time? Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it. I'm getting old, man. 25 years. So remember the time we were at the traffic light, and this was down in the 954, and we're on the left turning lane, and there's a woman next to us. Very salaciously licking her lollipop or whatever the hell it was. Do you remember this? Now we're like, we're young.
Let's see if I tell the story, and then I'll see if I can.
Well, no, but it's just basic. It was quick. So we're at the light, and it was a popsicle or a lollipop or something. She's licking it. All right. So let's be honest here. It's like watching one of those movies, right?
Oh, it's the best.
So you and I are looking over, like, because she's on this side. We're looking over, and we're like, damn, right? She just, light turns green. She just goes and takes off. She was teasing us. We were all excited, thinking she was, trying to get us to pull over. Yeah. No. Thanks, Chris.
Oh, yeah.
I can't do it. That was.
I always say that.
You had your white pickup truck. Remember the white pickup truck? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. We had a time, and I'll just say this, and then we'll go. And I'm not going to get into it. It was a different time, so I'm not going to say anything. But my buddies and I were driving, and I had this old pickup truck, lowrider pickup truck. I had my system in it.
Yeah.
And we're driving, and I don't know why we said, "Oh, this dude." Like, I told my buddy, "Hey, man, I think that guy winked at you. He drove by, so you go get him." And we're throwing like pennies out the truck, chasing him. And we pull up right next to this dude. And my buddy, he said something that you probably shouldn't say. We wouldn't say today, but he said something to him. This dude had the best comeback because he called him a name, and the dude looks over. He goes, "Yeah, and you three are in that little truck together." And I just loved. I said, I just started laughing because we're all in the truck. It's an old like 2-seater. The bench seats. So you had 3 guys like in the low rider. We're driving down, and it was funny as hell. It was funny as hell.
Hey, you know what you said? You got me. Got my mouth open.
I looked at him and said, "I said you got." I said that was funny. I said, "What am I going to say?"
Well, now our friend. Now look at our friend who might be going to Cutz's bar next week. I had this. My first car was this car from an auction. It was an ex-cop car, and it had one of those things where you can talk in the microphone and you can talk out. They didn't disconnect it. So, of course, we were tough guys, always doing, 40 miles an hour, cursing people out at the bus stop and all this shit. Remember that? Until the light turns red and somebody's saying, "Oh, shit." No longer tough guys.
That weird car. Remember the one guy like called us out on the CB radio that one time?
Yes. You mean that little red 4-wheeler over there? Yeah.
What is it? Parachute pants? Is that what it is, Jimmy?
Yes. Parachute pants. What's wrong with that?
I had parachute pants. I had the parachute pants. The Z Cavaricis, the Cavaricis back in the day, tight roll jeans, man.
I got parachute pants upstairs. What's wrong with that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. We'll wear them out this Friday.
I think Jimmy's still got a members only, Jack. You're still a member.
The last member. I'm the last
member. All right, guys. Hey, sorry we didn't do too much sports. We mixed it up with a little bit of life and just had a good
break. Louis busting out with the cardboard box. Yeah.
No, the best gift ever was our parents. We asked for the breakdance thing. They gave you. They had it was already kind of like, I don't want to say oil, but it was like slick. And you got it for Christmas. It was like a 4x4 piece, and you get it for Christmas. And it had like you did the breakdancing on that. So
no, I tell you that one in Brooklyn, man, that was cool to watch. That was like an art form. When that,
yeah.
you know,
I don't know what that crap they had in the Olympics this last year. That wouldn't break dance.
No, that was
anyways.
Amateurs.
All right, guys. We will be back Wednesday. We'll be thinking of, hopefully there'll be some news, some Cowboys, some OTA. Kelly K9 and I will be in the cave. He's got a new mic. Maybe he's got a new laptop. We're going to see what happens. But definitely appreciate all the love. Like I said, man, we're earning our money right now because it's like, man, we're trying to figure this thing out during the offseason. But you get to learn a little bit more about Jimmy and I, back in the days.
Yes.
Hopefully some more stories to come. And I just want to say, hopefully anything I said, I tried to be very, very sketchy on some of the things. Didn't offend nobody. If we did, go F yourself. I don't really care. So, all right.
Exactly.
All right. We'll see you guys. Have a great one, man. We appreciate it. I got to go watch Below Deck. I'll see you.
Give me somebody that's hungry. Give me somebody that's hungry. I need somebody.